Hello friends, here we are. Wisdom for the Spiritist Practitioner. This is day 25 and we are here studying this beautiful book, Educandário de Luz, Educational Institute of Light. In this book, we're gonna see several spirits laying out tips, insights, instructions, deep knowledge for those who want to practice Spiritism, becoming Spiritist practitioners. And today we have Emmanuel. Emmanuel is our teacher tonight. He wrote this message titled In the Good Fight, and we're going to read it to you. It's composed of 6 paragraphs only, but deep, of greatest insights to strengthen ourselves. Before we begin, we'd like to inform you that at the end of our program today, we count on your presence to pray for the massacre that happened in Las Vegas. We need to pray, friends. These are challenging times, and we shall pray at the end, okay? We are here at Kardec Radio to really join forces with everyone who is going through this difficult time, the loss of loved ones in such a dramatic way. And many have been asking, why does this happen? Well, we cannot attempt to explain because only God knows. But we know that this is the last hour of the transformation from planet of trials and expiation and into the regenerative world. It's gonna take decades, century, I don't know. It depends on humanity. But what we know is that those who are connected to the world are given an opportunity to reincarnate. But if they don't receive proper education in childhood, their emotional management will fail. No, I'm not blaming anyone, but we have evidences that childhood was not well taken care of. And when people say that somebody who was just there and boom, got rifles and shooted at people and people didn't see it coming, you know why we don't see it coming? Because our society is sick. When we allow the dynamics of the society to be as it is, allowing people to be isolated, allowing people not to mingle, and we're not surprised that people who are isolated, people who are living their little lives, one day, boom, they explode into personality people didn't see it coming. So we need to pay attention, and you know what we can do to prevent? It's not only about guns, of course, it's about gun control, but it's also about being fraternal. If you see somebody who is too quiet in a classroom in a school or in your neighborhood, try to approach, not to mingle in the person's life, but make the person feel that they are not alone. Pray. If you cannot approach, pray for the person. Because the less we are concerned about people's lives, thinking, well, I should mind my business and not care for others, this is the end result. People are simply, boom. I remember an experience that happened to me when I happened to have a postdoctoral fellow in our lab coming from Spain, living in the same apartment complex, and they were missing the couple for 2 days. Nobody knows what's happening. There are no social connections. When people are connected, they are better off mentally speaking. So friends, we need to connect, okay? Connect. Don't be afraid. Talk to people. Pray for people. Reach out to people. Don't interfere in their personal lives, but please, this thing about letting people be isolated is a bad recipe for obsession. No wonder. So reading chapter 23 of the Medium's book, we understand that certainly there is a strong subjugation on the behind the scenes. People, when they do these mass shootings, they are not alone. So we Spiritists have a lot to do. And you know one thing we can do? Go to a public library, schedule a book club, and study. Announce we're studying about spirit attachment. Read the chapter 23 or the book by Manuel Filomeno Miranda. It's already in English. Obsession through Divaldo Franco. And people will understand they don't need to be spiritists, but this is great outreach effort. Book clubs in public libraries so people will get to know more. We need to connect. We need to connect. Sometimes it's difficult, Liva Moraes, but we're talking about what we, you know it, what we can do at our reach. If each one of us reach out to much more, when we're driving, we're praying to people. When we go to schools, you never know. It could be anyone. And I personally know a person whose niece was in the shooting. Thank God she survived, but she's deeply traumatized. It's one of the editors at Kardec Radio, Vanessa Childs from Seattle. Her niece was in the show in Las Vegas, and we have come to know of the trauma that she's experienced, and we can just imagine how other people are feeling. So the mentors are allowing us to speak this so we can be proactive wherever we are in the world and really do what we can to connect to people, making them feel that they are not alone. Really telling them, you are not alone. Right? Michael Jackson. Exactly. So let me say hi to those whom I can see, those whom I cannot see. You are there as well, and you are loved, you are light, your peace, your joy of living. And that's a good mantra. That's a good affirmation to say in the back of our minds when we see people, even though we don't know them. We admit to them, your light, your peace, your joy of living. Your light, your peace, your joy of living. Your light. You go to the supermarket. Your light, your peace, your joy of living. You see the cashier, you see people passing by, you're driving, and then the good spirits are counting on us to counterbalance these difficult times, trying times for the mind of those who are not strong enough to resist the temptation of old conditionings, right? There's a lot for us to break down, and hopefully Kardec Radio will address this more deeply at another time. For us here we have Rihanna and Nico. How are you, my friends? Teresa Catapano, how are you? Alexandra Azevedo, how are you? Nina, we got your package today at Kardec Radio. Thank you so much. And by the way, if you go to the page of the campaign for the books for the Spiritist Center in Brazil that is turning 100 years this October, yay! Centro Espírita Luz e Caridade, this coming Thursday at 10 a.m. I'll be with you. There at the page of the campaign, we're going to share Kardec Radio and other pages, a live interview with our friend Dr. Ivenia Prada from Brazil. We are going to be talking in Portuguese because it's for the center in Brazil, but it's going to be at the page of the campaign. She is the granddaughter of one of the founders, and I am the great-granddaughter of one of the founders. So we're going to be together talking about the foundation of 100 years. She is a renowned scholar in Spiritism in Brazil. She has a lot to share with us. So don't miss it, okay, friends? Lívia Moraes, how are you? Paula, how are you? Leia Severo, you're back. Ana Augusta, and you know, Luis, who is in the United States touring in. There are several of his talks in Portuguese already being streamed on Facebook. Plus, Spiritism Kids is released, the first edition. The second one is coming up. Go to spiritist.us and order your magazine. And if you're a Spiritist Center, you can order 10 for $140 plus 40% of discount for Spiritist Centers, and allow the new generation to, you know, grab their hands in these beautiful teachings with these beautiful visuals that can change their lives. We need to educate the new generation differently. The system is not working. Begin it with Kardec. Spiritism Kids. Karina, how are you? And Hipólito, Rudy, Teresa Castro, Angelita, Fraternity Without Borders, Glais Walber, Annie Mercia. So friends, here we are, shall we? Emmanuel. So we are in the proper mindset to receive this message. 6 paragraphs only. 6. Let us visualize our dear Chico psychographing this message. Emmanuel coming from higher spheres with the purpose to deliver this message to immortality. Right, Marcelite? Thank you for being with us in this current of mental, constructive mental current. Beautiful. Imagine Emmanuel writing, and he titles the message, In the Good Fight. Now visualize this, because the spirits don't tell us stories like nursery stories to go to sleep. It's for us to be awake. And I say this because many people, when they become spiritual or spiritists, they only want to hear good things, pinkish, la land stories, like, oh, the good spirits and the angels and the higher spirits. But we're on the earth, and when we're mature, we face the obstacles with a smile of hope and joy and courage. Right, Ana Lucia? And Adilson. So, in the good fight. Yeah, because on the earth, that's what it is. The harvest of the good, says Emmanuel, the harvest of the good that Jesus shows to us is revealed by hard work, grounded in teamwork effort. It is a service of togetherness, mutual support, in which the practitioners, with interconnected hearts and united hands, are called to hard labor, beginning with the improvement of ourselves. On the face of it, each nucleus of Spiritist activity is an outpost of revived Christianity. Then it must be by virtue of its purposes, a field of moral warfare, where the leaders act, armed with resources of the soul, with understanding and tolerance, kindness and patience, humility and self-denial, based on the love that Christ has bequeathed us. In this regard, let us acknowledge our obligation to work for the good, so that the good of all can be done everywhere. Let us sow the soil of the Spirit with the instruments of study. Let us sow understanding. Let us spread human values, exemplify loyalty to the commitment espoused in the uplifting workshop, and spread to others as much as possible the blessings of the Lord. It is fair that in these spiritual battle lines there will be less happy occurrences. From time to time, comrades are targeted by enemies of the light through the breaches they have formed, demanding urgent protection in the rear guard. Many retreat in fear as they observe the extent of the work to be done. Others require holidays or indefinite leave, fearing obstacles. And still others flee in fear at the risks of the struggle. On behalf of all, Jesus Christ, the Supreme Commander of the host of the good, promotes and will always promote the adequate help under the precise conditions. However, in order to understand our own difficulties, let us remember that in the group of Jesus himself, in the early days of the gospel, although the team was only composed of 12 companions, there were problems and disharmony, denials and desertions. Let us reflect on this, accepting our responsibilities to work and to serve, to be with the Divine Master in the trials and affliction on the front, pressing on always. Right, Juliano and Leticia. Ana Lúcia, don't make me cry, my friend. I'll be there in Brazil at the end of October. I would love to see you, Camilinha, and others. Who knows, we can do a get-together there to discuss more about these discoveries, huh? Right? Yes. Let's see if we can talk. By the way, we'll be in the Spiritist Center, Centro Luz e Caridade, in Itubi, São Paulo, on October 27th, which is the very day of the foundation. We'll be there for a talk. We'll be there meeting Karina, Alice, and other friends, hopefully Valéria Benfica, so we can celebrate and be reverent to the pioneers of these works. What did Emmanuel tell us today? In the title, he's already giving a call. There is the bad fight and the good fight. Because when he says good fight, he's talking about the opposite, bad fight. The good fight is the one that we fight within. The bad one is when we fight outside of us. The good fight is within us. The bad fight is outside of us. We need to make a choice. We can only work on the good fight when we stop playing the bad fight. When we start projecting on others the problems of our lives. When we stop demanding from others. Because Jesus said to Peter, truth does not demand, it transforms. He said it to Bartholomew, actually. So, here we have Emmanuel inviting us to the good fight. Who is in? Raise your hands. I know everybody is, so raise your hands, friends. But he begins by talking about it in a most optimistic way. He begins and he ends, though he's talking about a fight, he's talking about this work within ourselves, right? The harvest of the good. So he's talking about labor, work. It's really labor. If you are a woman and you have given birth to a child, you know where we're talking about. If you're not a woman and you haven't given birth, even if you are, you remember from previous lives. No, I don't. Yes, you do. You can almost imagine what it is to give birth to a child. It's not easy, though beautiful. The harvest of the good, that's the first expression that Jesus shows to us is revealed by hard work. Some people are saying, Vanessa, what's my role? We will only know if we roll our sleeves and begin where we are. Right here, right now, inside of us, inside of the heart. The wheels of the heart go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels of the heart, round and round, round and round to God. And if I am a little angry, that's okay, that's okay. Let us pray. To pray when you're angry, you need to work hard. It's not easy. You've tried it, you haven't, it's a good try. It works, but it's hard work. First, you breathe in and out. First, you accept anger. Look at anger. Let's say this is anger. What are you doing there? Talk to anger, and soon after, you see a smile back in your heart. Literally, that's how we manage the emotion. We don't fight. We don't repress. We don't push it away. We say, okay, what is it all about? Fear, come here, come here, come here, come here. What is it? Fear of not being accepted? Not being accepted? What? Some friends are telling me about Cardiac Radio. I need to find out, where are we at Cardiac Radio? Forgive me for the pause. We need to start it again. Okay. Here we are, Kara Correa, Mark Smith. Thank you for double checking. So, what do? We look, we feel the emotion, like, what is this fear about? Some people are afraid of being afraid, angry at being angry, guilty because they're feeling guilt, and that doesn't work. So what do we need to do? Face it. Look at the emotion, face it. And that's what he's telling us, hard work, the harvest of the good, but we do it in teamwork efforts. It's a service of togetherness, mutual support, in which the practitioners interconnect their hearts, unite their hands, and work hard, improving themselves. That's the secret. And then in the second paragraph, he brings us another idea. I'm being explicit about the ideas in the paragraphs, not to be simplistic, but to help us, as Mentor Joseph says, let us share how we start studying the messages so we can feel them. It's not enough to read. We need to break it down. We need to feel them, right, Ivana Santos? Feeling, oh, feeling. And he says, each nucleus of Spiritist activity, it could be your Facebook study session, like Rihanna does it in South Africa, and Angela Stewart is doing it, and Sunshine is doing it, and others of you are doing it, or the physical center, the physical group in your home, in the library. It's an outpost of revived Christianity. What does it mean? We're never alone. Who is the majority of your attendance? Okay. Your majority of your attendance is incarnated or discarnated? What is it? Incarnated or discarnated? Who answers that, please? I'm going to wait for you guys. When you put together a study session for Spiritism, who is the majority of the attendees? Is it the discarnated or the incarnated? In all cases, it's only one answer. Who is majority, incarnated or discarnated? Somebody, anybody, Alexandra. Discarnated! You're right. Thank you, Alexandra, because they are majority of the inhabitants of the planet. Right, Teresa Castro? Yes, Adilson, thank you. We're going to repeat it. Teresa Catapan said discarnated, right? So we'll never forget this. So when people ask, but what is the language we should do? The majority. Oh, but Vanessa, I don't know, but you can guess, right? You can guess. You can guess. Yes, we need to do it to help those who cannot receive the teachings. Let me give you two experiences That happened when we start doing things in the language of the city, the community that we're living in, okay? When we did the first symposium, Spiritist Symposium in Baltimore in 2007, we remember the good spirits telling us in a mediumistic meeting that preparing for the works that would happen simultaneous to the symposium, the spirits put together flyers talking about their outreach services like fraternal counseling, nursing, like really outpost, like hospital services. And they had people like spirits, servants, who would post these flyers throughout the city of Baltimore. So the spirits who were more than the denser ones, that were not even aware that they were discarnated, etc., they would read it and come to the day of the symposium. Another time happened when we were in Washington, D.C., October last year, a year ago, launching the first Spiritist group in Washington, D.C. We remember that during the meeting, the Spirit showed to us that they did a similar thing in Washington, D.C. And the spirits were, there is a lot of homelessness, and I say this quote unquote, in the spiritual realm. Spirits were wandering. They don't know that either they are discarnated or they know and they don't know what to do next. They are browsing around. They are getting into people's businesses. They are staying at restaurants because of their addictions. They are staying in specific shops because of their connection, liquor stores, etc. So we saw that the spirits placed these ads about the service, the hospital services that they would be delivered on the very day of the meeting there. The spirits need us to collaborate with them. Right, Raquel Murray? And that's why we're here. So, nucleus of spiritist activity is an outpost of what? Christ consciousness. So it's kind, fraternal. That's why he's saying it must be, by virtue of its own purpose, a field of moral warfare, where the leaders, they have understanding, tolerance, kindness, patience. This is the good fight. You know, sometimes we're in a rush and we're not kind. So breathe in and out. Tell ourselves, I am kind, I am loving, I am kind, I am loving. Before you go to the Spiritist meeting, let us go there. Let us go there with this affirmation in the heart. I am a child of God. My friends are children of God. We reincarnated to learn to do good. And we visualize everyone, the whole team of the center, feeling this call. Okay? Rudy is saying, yes, from the book, exactly. This message, Rudy, as all the messages in this book, Educandário de Luz, they were published in other books, and then this was a compilation for Spiritist practitioners. Thank you, Rosaline. Rosa, how are you? Erika Arizante. Patricia. How are you, Patricia? She says, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Paul in 2 Timothy 4:7. Paul started fighting the good fight after seeing Jesus in Damascus when he started his inner transformation further on his work. Beautiful. Thank you for this quote. Thank you, Patricia. That's the goal. So he says in the third paragraph, let us acknowledge our obligation to work for the good. so that the good of all can be done everywhere. Okay, this seals the deal. Oh, yeah, I might. No, no, no. It's an obligation. How do we know it? It's the law of God. The good is the law of God. If I don't practice it, I am not practicing the divine law. I am an outlaw. No. Yes, I am an outlaw. So to do the good is not like a real choice. Because Emmanuel is saying it's an obligation. It's a duty. In the Gospel according to Spiritism, there is this message. Duty. And the spirits remind us that we have a duty towards God. For many reincarnations, we have come with the illusion that I can do whatever I like. Not. Free will has limits. But Vanessa, it doesn't make sense when a shooting like this happens. Yeah, only the timeline of immortality can tell us why God's justice is still taking place. And God's mercy, because it could have been worse. I know that doesn't console us, but it consoles us to know that life goes on. It consoles us to know that we're being called to be more proactive. If you're living in the United States, especially tonight, we're being asked to do exactly what Emmanuel says. Let us acknowledge our obligation to work for the good, so that the good of all can be done everywhere. And he calls us, let us sow the soil of the Spirit with the instruments of study. We need to study. Therapeutic question. How many hours a week do we spend studying? I'm talking about Spiritism only. How many hours? Really study. Good question. That's homework. Let us sow understanding. Are we sowing understanding? Where are the seeds? We want to know. The seeds are in our hearts. How do we practice understanding? Read the chapter 10 of the book Thought in Life. That's precisely when Emmanuel says, let us seek the good, feel the good, visualize the good, and mold the good with all the resources we have at hand. There's no time to waste in worries, in concerns, in lamentations, in complaints, because we need to strive to do the good. Right, Sylvia? He says, let us spread human values. Oh yeah. We need to create programs in schools regarding character formation. It's not enough simply to teach kindness. We need to worry about character formation. Oh yes. Schools and home. There will be a day we'll be more concerned about character formation than a blind religious attitude. When a father is an accountant and he is the most wanted person, we ask in the United States FBI, and years later the son ends up doing a mass shooting, if somebody tells us that there is no connection between childhood education and the person's upbringing, then we don't know why this is happening. We're not blaming anyone, but we're talking about facts. It begins at home with the parents, and parents need to help schools also team up with schools, not demand from schools, but volunteer to help, create programs that are beyond religion. It's about character formation. And then everywhere we go, as Spiritism says, it's going to transform the dynamics of organizations. Says Emmanuel in a unique book that is not yet published, named O Roteiro. It talks about the implementation of Christianity on the earth, and it talks about how it's going to permeate organizations and change its dynamics and mindset. So Alexander is saying we have to practice tolerance. Exactly. Renata Casadei say I have the same thoughts about that. Exactly. We're not blaming, but we can't be blind. We needed to see the relationship between parenting and, you know, I know it's a tough news because people don't want to have responsibility in parenting. Unfortunately, we're seeing that more and more often. Parents having children and washing their hands and handing the poor little babies to someone else to raise when they're just born, hoping that they're going to spend the whole day in a daycare and they're going to come home as good citizens. And you think the teachers or the caregivers are going to be teaching them what is our responsibility? No, they will not. And it's not charitable to demand that the teachers do. Right? We're in Roteiro, Rudy. I don't have the chapter, but as soon as I finish, I have the book right here. I'm going to pick it up and type in the answer, replying to you, okay? Thank you for asking. So, he says, Emmanuel, let us spread human values. He's saying spread human values, so don't be shy. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Share, talk to your friends. Friends, how about if we gather together to do a lesson? It doesn't need to be in a Spiritist center. You want to do a barbecue with friends? Say to the friends who have children, say, let's do a barbecue, but before we do, how about if we get together and we work on an activity on kindness with our children? Why not? Or do this. These are emotion cards. Pick up a material like this and play a game. Adults and children. There are games suggested here. We have cards, 150 emotions. Feeling cowardly. Feeling hopeful. Feeling clear. Feeling insensitive. Etc., etc. So we play games and we use that social gathering to spread human values. Exemplify loyalty to the commitments we espoused. And spread to others as much as possible the blessings of the Lord. Spread to others as much as possible the blessings of the Lord. Spread to others the blessing as much as possible the blessings of the Lord. If all of us here together, we do one thing in this regard, fulfilling this call that Emmanuel is saying, many things will be changed in our networks. Right? Sylvia is saying, Raquel, you can get it at Amazon, you can get it at harnessinghappiness.com. It's called Onion Head. Onion Head, 150 cards for teens and adults, and they have also 52 emotions for children. They have many more materials there. Now, in the battle lines, the spiritual battle lines, less happier currency. So we love Emmanuel because he lays out what we need to do as a general. This is what we need to do. But in that doing, you will see that some people are going to be targeted by the enemies of the light, but that will only happen because they open doors, and we need to urgently protect the rear guard. In the Medium's book, Allan Kardec talks about the fact that when somebody is going through strong obsession in the Spiritist group, in the mediumistic meeting, it can be contagious. He uses this, contagious as a disease, and starts spreading dissension and rivalry and other problems within the community. So urgent measures, some people, they see things happen and they allow it to go. Mentor Joseph always says, go work on it. Be diligent. We need defense is a must. Your physical body, my physical body, by nature, has a beautiful system of defense, the immune system. In life, we need to learn how to protect. And that's exactly what he's saying. Urgent protection. Urgent protection. And he says, but people will retreat. People will be afraid, fearing obstacles. Ay, 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 mamma mia, don't fear anything. Believe in God. Good job, Sylvia. Thank you. Leia Severo is mentioning. The book Roteiro, chapter 13. Okay? Thank you, Leia. Now, on behalf of all, Jesus Christ, the Supreme Commander of the hosts of the good, the Supreme Commander of the hosts of the good. So, no fear, because we have a commander that is unsurpassing. And he's the commander. So if there is anybody hosting the good, it's because Jesus is sending them to do so. Jesus promotes and will always promote the adequate help under the precise conditions. So we need to have specific conditions for it. And in order to understand our difficulties, let us remember that in the group of Jesus himself, there were difficulties. So you put together a group and there are difficulties. Breathe in and out and say, happen to Jesus, the Supreme Commander. Why wouldn't it happen to you? Don't worry. Be happy. Literally. You know why? Because the command is above us. Pray. Wait. Love more. Serve more. The other day, Mentor Joseph was saying, when you guys are experiencing an issue in the group, work harder together. That's how we solve the problems. Work harder together. Right, Vanessa? How are you, my friend from Seattle? And a member of the Spiritist Side of Virginia, believe it, for more than 4 years. Oh, yeah. Let us then reflect on this and accept our responsibilities to work and to serve. Question to you and I. Have you accepted your responsibility to work and to serve with Jesus? Have you already accepted the invitation? The responsibilities to work and to serve? Let's think together. Have I? Have you? And with the Master, we'll go through the trials and afflictions on the front, pressing on always. Always, always. Press on. This is it, right, Carol Correa and Mark Smith? Right, Vanessa. Thank you, Adilson. So thank you for being together in the good fight. Tonight, if you accepted the invitation and the responsibility, remember, you are a little soldier of the good fight. Yes. Thank you, Ana Lucia. Big kiss and a hug. Now, you know there's a cute little song, probably I've sung before, in Portuguese. But it's from A Turma do Cristãozinho. Sou soldadinho de Jesus, sou soldadinho de Jesus. Abra a boquinha para orar, feche os olhinhos. Abra a boquinha para cantar, feche os olhinhos para orar. I am a little soldier of Jesus Christ. I'm a little soldier of Jesus Christ. I open my mouth to sing for you, and I close my eyes to pray to God. I'm translating a little bit, but the music is in Portuguese. Bring on the good fight. Let's feel the presence of the Supreme Commander and do the good, do the good, do the good. Thank you, friends. When we come back tomorrow, you know it's going to be a poetry. By the Spirit, John of God. What? John of God has discarnated? No, we're talking about another John of God. A spirit that came through Chico Xavier. And the poetry is, let's go with Jesus. Oh my, I can almost feel it. Until tomorrow. Thank you so much, Patricia, who is saying, since we belong to the day, let's be sober, putting on faith and love as breastplate and the hope of salvation as a helmet. That's the spirit. Thank you, friends. Love you. Bye.